Your Imperial Majesty, may I request clarification of the instructions you just gave me? I asked my mother as I stood in the sitting room of my quarters at the palace. Kimlin, this is not a formal visit, she told me. You do not have to address me as Empress. I'm your mother first. Mother was a tall, beautiful, slender woman who appeared to be in her early 20s, with long, straight, ice-colored hair cascading down her back. Her crystal blue eyes reflected sadness at the cause of this visit. She wore a long dress of nearly metallic blue. My mother might appear to be a woman no older than me, but she was one of the oldest people in the Omniverse, certainly one of the oldest that was not divine, and I had my suspicions about that. She was, after all, a temporal lord. She was also the ruler of the Thulian Galactic Empire, forged after the event that shattered 4 realities and merged them with a 5th. My mother is too kind, I told her neutrally, trying to keep both sarcasm and hurt from my voice. You're angry with me, she said. It was a statement, not a question. A statement we both understood was rightfully and justly true. I have been publicly embarrassed, humiliated, emasculated, and cuckolded, even in the media, by my brother and fiancé. Instead of redress for my grievances, I am being sent away from the Empire, exiled, in all but name. And you are agreeing to this. Please excuse me if I, in the privacy of my own quarters, cannot maintain the stoic disposition that you seem to demand. I understand. You feel betrayed by the people closest to you. That's perfectly normal. She paused momentarily and said, I understand you are angry with me. It is another betrayal in your mind, and I know I cannot change that. The demand of the Rthamar tied my hands. Cullen will be emperor, and this betrayal of his own brother must be handled with the utmost political delicacy. Unfortunately, that means you are required by their decisions to suffer even more so that your brother's image is not further tarnished. More than just suffer, I am to be stripped of my title, or more accurately, not allowed to retain it by service to the Empire, and sent away to live the rest of my life in obscurity. The Star Navy has rejected my request, even to enlist, much less attend the academy. I fought back a sigh and asked, is my very existence to be stripped from the records? It seems that is the next step. At least an exile would mean that I am not forgotten. Dear gods, no, she replied. The Rthamar and your brother know I would not accept that. Nor will I agree to exile you. She paused and said. I insisted that if you accepted this discommodation to yourself and your honor, it would count as your service to the Empire. Your title and your holdings will be preserved. Just not available to me, I countered. Not readily, no, she told me. And since this is not an official exile, it is indefinite, I stated. She took a deep breath and said, Kim, unlike your twin, you have not only your father's quintessence, but the Io gene as well. Your brother will live a normal human lifespan and pass away in 120 years or so. You, however, will live long after he has gone to the bosom of Kiera Atlan. Why is that so? I asked. Why is it that my brother is emperor, yet mortal, whereas I am, as an immortal, being sent away from the throne? Because your grandmother and grandfathers, with their own Io gene, made the Rthamar nervous, and me inheriting from them scares them to the point that their bodily function seize up. Cullen was your father's and my gift to the Rthamar, an emperor who will live and die in a normal lifespan, and hopefully create a line of more baseline rulers. However conceited as it might sound, you are our gift to the Omniverse. Your brother's actions have presented that gift far faster than I would have preferred, and I am furious about that. She paused and continued. And the throne has not had good experiences with twins in the Imperial House. Rhiannon and Callan warred with each other and split the old Atlantean Empire, sank the continent, and shattered the stellar colonies. You make them nervous. But you will agree to this, I said. You are agreeing to my being unpersoned. She walked over to where I was standing, in front of the window that looked out over the bay of the capital city. She touched my shoulder and said, Your father and I have seen the permutations of your brother's actions. There will be a price for what he's done. But this decision is the only one that will see to your safety, his safety, and that of the Empire." She paused and added, "Make no mistake, as angry as I am with your brother and Marianne, I still love you and act to protect you both." I nodded and said, "Somehow, that's of little comfort to me right now." "I understand that," she said. "Your brother and Marianne tell me they regret their actions and do not wish you to be sent away. They regret the ramifications of what they've done, not their actions themselves." I told her. "Their actions have cost them nothing." "Not at this time," she said. "But it will. Your brother is in store for a difficult reign, a reign where he will not be able to call on what was supposed to be his good right hand. He will be all alone against the night, and neither I, your father, nor your grandfathers will be there to help him." "Why?" I asked, worried for my parents. "Because I've used much political capital to mitigate what has happened. I have done what I set out to do. Preserve the Empire and ensure its safety. Your grandfathers refuse to interfere, and so does your father. And what should I do? Travel beyond this universe. See what wonders it offers, be useful to people who need you." She chuckled lowly and said, "Follow in your grandparents' footsteps. Find an Earth with transhuman abilities, put on spandex, and go out to fight for truth and justice." "Really, Mother?" I asked. "Or should I take that as an imperial command?" "Kimlin," she warned, "don't play this game with me." Suddenly, I realized something. My mother had set me free if I wanted to take the chance. "Where would you suggest? Father's pet reality where nobody can travel without first going through the courts immortal? Or should I pick some literature-based universe with a trinity consisting of a big blue Boy Scout, a guy who dresses up like a bat, and an Amazon princess?" "That reality is not a pet," she told me earnestly. "And I would not recommend it. There are too many ties there that could lead back to here." She smiled and said, "As for the other one, there are so many permutations of it that it is impossible to follow them all. Besides, traveling to an actual litverse has its own dangers. Just ask Princelet Hunter Dare." Her eyes lit up, and I suddenly felt I'd been maneuvered into a trap. "There is a reality where Dare has made some friends. Let me ask your father. I understand they are about to undergo a transformative event that will have repercussions across the globe as their quantum fields continue to grow. So, not only do you wish to send me away, you want me to work for you while in exile." She frowned and said, "Not me, your father." "I see." I told her, realizing there was no difference between the two, but deciding to leave it. There was no need to antagonize her father further. "I will speak with him immediately. I think you might enjoy that particular reality." It was clear that the discussion was over as she turned to exit my suite. It was then I made my decision. It was time I stood up for myself. "Don't bother, Mother. If I am to do this, I will do it my way." It was the first time I'd ever defied my mother. "Do I still have access to my accounts, or will they be frozen, should I not do as you command?" She stopped and turned back around. "This is not a command, Kim. If you would prefer another path, I will not stop you. What is it you wish?" I could see some kind of realization appear in her eyes. "A transship," I told her. "One that I can live on, explore with, and defend myself and others with." The last transship that the Alternity Corps released to non-core personnel ended up partially in control of an entire Earth reality's economy. "Is that a no?" She shook her head and said, "No, it's not a no. But it will be necessary to find a ship's brain willing to go off with a Thulian prince who has been exiled in all but name." She threw my words back at me. "Thank you, Mother," I told her. "Do you have any idea where you might go?" I smiled. "I'll take your advice and talk to Prince Ledare." "As you wish," she told me and left the room. I sighed, sat in the chair by the window, and steeled my emotions. That could have been a better conversation. Then again, that was true over every conversation I'd had over the last few weeks. Author's name and the link to original text is in the description. Consider tapping the thumbs up and pressing the subscribe button if you enjoyed this video.